The attempt of Jenrick and Badenoch to out-reform reform is like watching two 5-year-olds excitedly shouting in the playground about something they have just learned in their classroom. The reason why their bold statements are meaningless is because the Conservative Party is essentially two souls trapped in one body. They have a bunch of MPs and members who are cuddly centrists, who would probably be more at home with the Liberal Democrats, and another group who are aching to be like Reform UK. This schism is now irreversibly embedded in the Conservative Party and actually defines it. It is the reason why there is so much infighting, why they so often go back on their word, and why no leader is going to last the distance to the next general election. The incessant tough talk on immigration and culture by Jenrick and Badenoch is actually loathed by many other Tories. The whole thing is just too grubby. Theresa May's warning that the party should not stray to the right is testament to the fact that the Conservatives cannot be unified and therefore cannot turn this country around. Getting immigration to the tens of thousands, leaving the ECHR, admitting the delusion of net zero are going to be some of the biggest battles any government will have to face for decades. Just look at the endless struggles to get Brexit done, and that was after a direct referendum from the people. Attempting to leave the ECHR and introduce a new British Bill of Rights will be a monumental struggle. It will be obstructed by other MPs, by the so-called impartial civil service, by lawyers, the EU, the House of Lords, and the media. To get something like this over the line requires a party that is completely unified with strong conviction, and even more importantly, has absolute faith in their leader. Anything short of this will lead to infighting and endless leadership contests, as the Conservatives have already shown. The philosophical schism in the Tory party means that it will not be able to handle the stress generated during these tumultuous times. Reform, on the other hand, is a new party that has been conceived with a clear vision. Its very DNA has been built on these things, like forging strong borders and tearing up net zero targets. It has a leader, Nigel Farage, who is more popular, has been utterly consistent on the big issues for decades, and has staked his whole career on them. Compare that to the likes of Jenrick and Badenoch, who have just recently found their voice on such issues after actively employing the very opposite in government over the last 14 years. Whoever wins the leadership is merely going to be a middle manager of a party that is inherently in decline. A party with half of its members consisting of Liberal Democrats cannot out-reform reform. Despite all the chest beating and pumped-up feisty talk, the Conservative Party is a broken brand that cannot deliver the change the country so desperately needs.